Hey everybody, welcome back to Record-ology. You're not going to want to miss this. Okay, so we're taking a little bit of a break from the reviews today to talk about a subject that gets asked all the time, especially on this channel, and that is what happens if I plug in my Suitcase Player or plug in my all-in-one unit with the cheap ceramic cartridge. What happens if I plug that into a nice stereo system or nice speakers? Will it make it sound all better? So I thought instead of talking through that, we would demonstrate that. So we've got some interesting experiments today with both magnetic and ceramic cartridges as well, just for fun. As a crystal cartridge, I thought I would throw that in here. We're going to do some speaker tests and basically listen to what they sound like with different setups. So to begin with, as sort of a control, we are going to start with a magnetic cartridge on a good set of speakers. Actually, these aren't speakers, these are monitors, so they have a flat response. That being said, I have actually tweaked the low end and the high end a little bit just to give them more of a speaker type of response rather than a completely flat monitor response. However, they are very accurate. These are the PreSonus Eris 4.5s, and for all these tests, we will be listening ambiently with my stereo microphones and the speakers in the room. So these will be an ambient speaker test, not a direct feed. I really want to give you a real world example of what this sounds like in a room. Now, this room, as you may know, is a little bit echoey and there's a lot of parallel surfaces. So it's sort of a worst case scenario for a real life example. For music today, I'm changing it up a little bit. It is Enoch Light, but it is a different album. This is a 60s action album, and I think it sounds really good. I think it's a good control in terms of something to listen to that has good frequency response. It is a high fidelity sort of audiophile grade record, so that'll be good for this. And to begin with, we're going to listen to a bass line. This bass line is going to be an entry-level turntable, as you see here, this Ion turntable, but it does have a magnetic cartridge. Specifically, it's got the Audio-Technica 3600L, which is one of the most prominent entry-level magnetic cartridges that are out there. And here we go. So we've got good stereo separation. We've got a decent amount of bass and treble. It sounds high fidelity. Okay, moving along. And we'll, as you guessed it, repeat these same tracks with the Suitcase Player on its own speakers, and then the Suitcase Player connected to these speakers. Sounds good. It sounds really, really good. It's full, it's rich. If you ever come across these Project 3 records, they are always good. They're high quality pressings and they always sound good, guaranteed every single time. Moving on, it's a lot of brass. It's very 60s sounding. Okay, so what we're going to do next is take the same record with the Suitcase Player and see how it compares. So now that you've got your ears accustomed to the nice magnetic cartridge on the speakers, we're going to switch now to where a lot of people start, and that's with a Suitcase Player. Specifically, this is a 3rd gen Crosley Cruiser. It is properly impedance matched. We're going to start by listening through these speakers right here, and you tell me what you notice as difference right off the bat. Let's give it a listen. Very slow descend on this. It's a lot harder to listen to, isn't it? It's very harsh. It's, arguably shrill. Completely different than what we were listening to. And it's even more so that we are doing a side-by-side comparison. Your mind remembers what that warmth, that richness sounded like. So a lot of people find themselves at this juncture in vinyl records, and they're like, man, a Suitcase Player I got for Christmas, or my birthday, or I bought myself. It's cool and all, but it doesn't sound as good as I want it to sound. And the logical solution to that is going to be connecting the external audio jacks, because there's RCA audio jack output on the back of this and almost every other entry-level unit. So what happens if we plug it into those same good speakers? And that's what we're going to do now. So we've got it connected to these nice monitors. Does that fix the problem? Will connecting this to speakers or a stereo system fix the problem of that shrill and tinny sound? Let's test it out. Now you will notice at first I had these speakers on and those speakers, and then I turned the volume down so we were hearing just these. And what do you think? Has it fixed the problem? Has it fixed it completely, partially? Listen to a little bit more. To my ears, it sounds a whole lot better. There are bass tones that were not present in here. In fact, we can do an A/B test. Watch this. We'll start with these, then we'll switch back to these. Oops, I didn't mean to turn it off. Okay, so I'm turning down the big speakers and up the little ones. And back to the big ones. Those high ends are crushed a little bit. That's one reason, is because these ceramic cartridges are less compliant, meaning that the needle doesn't read and track the groove as accurately as a magnetic cartridge. That being said, I personally think it helps a lot. In fact, it helps more than I remember it helping. I have been saying that it doesn't help much, but I'm going to say now that, yeah, that will give a considerable boost to the sound quality now that I'm doing. This is a real test. I'm not here to make you believe something or another. I'm here experimenting in real time with you guys. So I have convinced myself that this really does help to a degree. Now there's a certain harshness and crackle that is inherent in this cartridge that is just amplified with the bigger speakers, but there's definitely a softer overall tonality and warmth. So I think that this is something I would recommend folks doing. And back to the cheap speakers. back to the big ones. Very interesting. That's cool. You know, I'm discovering something new every single day. I think it's a good day if you learn something any particular day of your life. So for me, yes, I'm prepared to say this does help out considerably, more so than I recall before. If we compare the magnetic cartridge and the ceramic here on these same speakers, you will notice considerable better sound with the magnetic than the ceramic here. In fact, through the magic of editing, let me kind of go back and forth between the two, and we'll give that another listen. Okay, and just to make it interesting, this old Phillips record player, all transistor, no tubes included, is going to demonstrate what a crystal cartridge sounds like in comparison. Before the entry-level world was dominated by ceramics, they were dominated by crystal cartridges like this one. So again, harsh, low compliant, and this is kind of what they sounded like. This is what we're listening to right now is on the built-in speaker there in the middle. Although that arguably sounds better to me than the Suitcase Player with its built-in speakers. What do you guys think? Sounds warmer to me anyway. So what happens if we connect this unit to these speakers? Does that crystal cartridge sound better? Now you may be saying to yourself, wait a minute, this doesn't have an audio output jack. Well, it's been modified with one. So there actually is one on the back, and I'm going to connect it now. I need to make an adjustment to the volume here because it's a variable output, but let me get that set up and we will listen to the direct feed, or I shouldn't say direct feed. We will listen to these speakers playing this. I like this one on its own speaker better. You can tell it was totally designed for this speaker. In closing, 3 completely different phonograph cartridge technologies, and we tried each one of them. I think I cannot argue with the fact that the magnetic always sounds the best. However, through these tests, I now really believe that you can get considerable benefit to the sound quality from a basic ceramic found in a suitcase or an all-in-one, assuming it's properly impedance matched. I think that if it wasn't, it wouldn't be as impressive. But if it's properly impedance matched, as this one was, then connecting it to a stereo system or bigger speakers can in fact help. So, always curious what your guys' thoughts are. Let me know down in the comments below. All right, my friends, and that's going to do it for today. Happy record hunting. We'll see you next time.